Well, good morning, everybody. We've changed the backdrop, right? Well, hello and welcome back to the University of the Ozarks, and more specifically, welcome to campus. As you can see, or at least I think you can see, I am back in my office, or at least I'm back in my office for a few minutes. And I'm going to take today and give you a chance to see what things are going to look like. So for those that may be joining us for the first time, in March, I started doing live updates every Friday, or about every Friday. And most of those have come from the President's home. We're 2 weeks out from returning to campus, so I thought I'd show you what it looks like and what we've been doing to prepare for student return. We're going to start here in my office. Then we'll do a walk into the main administration building, and then we will walk over to Borum Business Building so that you can see what a classroom looks like. For those of you that are with me live, feel free to type in questions in the comment screen, and we'll address those at the end. So, many of you are probably noticing I'm not wearing a mask. Well, I'm in my office. My office has more than 6 feet of social distancing, and I know Connie's not here because, in fact, she's still working remote. She's working from her home in Dover. So while I'm in my office, I don't need to be wearing a mask, and I'm good with that. One of the things that you'll find that will be different when you arrive is that doors are going to be closed, and that's not very typical for us, right? We're a pretty open kind of place. So with that, I'm going to flip the camera and we're going to go for a walkabout. Okay? But before I do that, I should probably grab a mask. We can do Ducks Unlimited or Ozarks Purple. So I'm going to use Ozarks Purple. So if you were coming into the office suite, first you're going to notice there are footprints on the wall or on the floor telling you where you can stand. So if you're going to address Connie, you need to see Mrs. Booty. You're going to see her here, and you'll notice that she is protected with as much as we can do as it relates to her personal safety. You'll find that with all of the administrative staff, administrative assistants, executive assistants, that they're covered. The challenge is going to be for those of you who think you should step over here to the side. And our ask, it's why we've tried to make it as simple as possible to go, please stand here. All right, and then the next person. Now note, before I open this door, because I don't know what I'm going to encounter, I will put on a mask. All right? Now, I know that's going to change how you hear me, and we'll work with that. So give me just a quick minute. All right, so hopefully you can hear me. As we think about opening these doors, you'll notice that Jessica's door is closed. You'll notice that the exterior doors are closed. We very much know that is a new phenomenon for us, but that's how we will work. And as I leave, we're going to close this one. So now let's walk out into the main lobby. You'll notice similar kinds of things. Furniture has been moved. These chairs are set up from a few minutes ago when a coach was meeting with a player and her father. If you come into this building, you're going to notice that, again, we've got markers on the floor, and there is a help desk that wasn't here before. So if you have any business here in the building, you'll come to the help desk, you'll see what you need, and then they will direct you to basically the other doors in the building so that you can access space. We've done all of this in an effort to protect you and to protect faculty and staff. Now please know my technician today is Rebecca. Rebecca will be joining us here in a few minutes. You're going to see signs like this everywhere, right? Pretty standard things we learned in kindergarten. We need to wash our hands. You're going to see them on the wall. In the men's room, you're going to see them everywhere. Going, hey folks, take a few minutes and let's make sure we're safe. We can't stress that enough. Now Becca and I are going to go head over to Borum and we'll show you what a classroom's going to look like. So while we're headed that way, a couple of other highlights or safety kinds of things. There's all sorts of debate about when should I wear my mask. It is my belief that when you think you're going to run into somebody, we should grab our masks, right? If I know I'm all by myself, a mask isn't as important, like when I said there in my office. But what you didn't see in my office was hand sanitizer. I don't know how many times my hands have been washed and or sanitized today as I left the house. And we're going to ask you to think about that and just over and over and over. How do we think about keeping our hands clean? How do we think about not spreading germs? I've had a couple of questions about gloves. Please don't wear plastic gloves. It gives you an artificial sense of security and you actually spread the germs. If you're washing your hands, sanitizing your hands regularly, then we know you're better equipped and you're in good shape. Okay? One of the other things I want to tell you about, every day you're going to get an electronic survey. That electronic survey is going to ask you 3 questions. Those 3 questions will trigger all of the protocols on campus. All right? Those protocols will allow other people to check in on you if there are any problems. All right, just as a reminder, we are in Borum. Notice new sanitizer displays everywhere. Also, everybody's going to get, I don't know if you can see this, it's called a clean key, where you can open a door without touching any doorknobs. We're going to head upstairs and I'm going to show you 2 rooms. One room is under construction and then another room is set and ready to go for you all to be here in a couple of weeks. So again, I opened a door without touching anything. Now what was the Beverly Computer Lab is now going to be a large classroom. This wall is coming down, which will allow students to enter into one door. New furniture, we'll talk about that here in a minute. You'll enter in one door and exit out of another. Okay? And that is our hope that by doing that, we're keeping you as safe as possible. All right, so now let's talk about a classroom. This is what a classroom is going to look like. Face masks required. Here is the new room capacity. Please practice social distancing. This room doesn't have that. If you don't see these signs, that will indicate this room is closed. So regardless of what you think is happening or should be happening, the room is basically offline for the semester. That will allow our custodial staff to know exactly where they need to be at any one time to be able to clean. So you'll notice that the new furniture is here. There will be marks on the floor of where the furniture has to be. Likewise, when we get all the rest of the markings, there's a territory outlined for where the faculty should be and shouldn't be during class. I know that's a change for us, but it's what we've been able to do to put the classrooms in a position where we think they can be safe for everybody. Key classrooms are going to be here in Borum, in Walker, and then in the Student Center, where we've taken the conference center and turned it into a classroom. Okay? A couple of questions have been asked about dining. What's that going to look like? It's going to be grab and go. However, we have started positioning all of the tables and chairs so that we can open back up. Now, why did I come back into this space? I came back into this space because I know that Becca and I can get more than 6 feet apart. I'm going to take my mask off and see where she is, all the way over there. I'm going to take my mask off, flip this back around, and have her feed me questions. So, Becca, what are folks curious about?
I'm not seeing any questions. I just see people commenting saying it's beautiful and everything.
Well, folks, that's awful kind. What she just said is that she's not seeing questions, that she's seeing folks saying, "Hey, this is really good." There's a note where Vice President Garcia chimed in, and she said that there's going to be marks on the floors. That in that room, well, and here's a room that's not finished yet. The furniture's here, but it hasn't been laid out. And again, that wall will come down where folks will say, "Hey, here's where the chairs will set." One of the things that I'm really excited about is that when this wall comes down, we've done this in a couple of spaces. It is not our plan to ever put it back. That we've basically taken this opportunity to enhance spaces. And it's the belief that when we're able to go back to whatever normal might look like, it doesn't mean, hey, we're going to have to put all these walls back up. Another thing to note, for those of you who are excited about a new science building, most of this furniture is the type of furniture that was going to go into the science building. So we're using resources well. We'll put classroom space or classroom furniture back in this space, but we'll be able to reuse all of this into the science facility because it matches the design and the aesthetic that we're going for in the new science facility. Questions for us?
I have one that says, what can be done in the dorms?
Okay, what can be done in the dorms? All right, so I'm going to see if I understand the question. So when I'm in my room and my door is closed, it is our expectation that you and your roommate will become a family unit. And that as a family unit, we do not expect you to wear a mask. It is our expectation that the minute you step in or basically reach for the door, your mask is going on. Because you don't know what you're going to find when you open that door. And we're asking that you wear your mask inside the residence hall anytime you're in public spaces. All right? Anytime you're in public spaces, you're wearing this. You noticed I was wearing it on the sidewalk as we walked over, even though I could clearly see no one was in front of me. But I don't know who might be coming up beside me, who might be riding a bike, or just what's going on. So in the residence halls, you're going to wear them. Anytime you're in public, when you're in your individual personal room, you can take them off. Becca.
If you are sitting 6 feet apart in a class, are we required to wear the mask the whole class, or can we remove it while we are distant?
At this time, we're asking that you keep your masks on while you're in class. All right? That it's a double protection. That you are 6 feet apart, but while you're wearing a mask, it's adding additional protection from anyone else that might be around, and it's causing you to ensure that you're not spreading anything.
Are there classes in both the science building and at the bottom of the Walmart Center still available, or are those buildings off limits this semester?
All right, so the question is, I keep getting closer and closer, and I'm assuming you don't want to see my pores, so let's push this back. The question is, are there classes in each building? Generally, the answer is yes. That if you've had a chance to, for students, if you go to the Ozarks EagleNet portal, you'll see your classrooms. And for any of you that are new, it's fairly intuitive. The first couple of letters of the building equal the building. Walton Fine Arts Center, WFC, SB, Smith Broyles. So then the question is, are there classrooms in each building? Yes. But if a classroom is not big enough for social distancing, many of those have been taken offline. So that there are a few classrooms in each, and then some of the specialty classrooms. You know, if I'm in art and I'm needing to do pottery, that's a different question, and we're working with faculty on how might they ensure social distancing and still allow people to do the things that they need to do. So, yes.
Will students still have access to software like Adobe Productions with the repurposing of labs?
Question is about software and access to highly specialized software. Yes, IT, information technology, is working through that, and it's my belief that it will become more available as opposed to less available, and that they're working on those solutions.
Will there be any sort of fitness equipment available to students?
That's the one that's all right. The question is, will there be fitness equipment available to me in any capacity? That's the one that's the hardest to answer, because information is changing. We know how important being physically fit and being active is. It's part of why we're bringing you back to campus, and that we know you need to get moving and continue your trajectory, to continue what you are preparing for. The athletic staff and Bendex Stevenson, who does outdoor rec, and then Coach Susie Gardner, are all working on solutions on what they can give you access to, and then what can be cleaned in a way that we know that a treadmill doesn't become an infection device, and know that we're trying to find as many of those solutions and many of those outlets as possible. What you're going to find is, more often than not, we're going to say, hey, let's get you outside. Let's get you in a space where there are fewer risks.
Is the chapel building open? Will students be able to use the lobby or prayer room?
Question is about the chapel, and will specifically the prayer room, will it be open? I don't know the answer to that question. I will ask Reverend Wilhelm to spend a couple minutes and reply. The lower level of the chapel, for all of the amazing ways it was built and all of the really cool ways y'all use it, you can't do that anymore. Yeah, right? I mean, that it can't be treated like your personal living room, even though that's exactly why we designed it that way. We're going to have to restrict some of that, again, as it relates to how quickly we can clean it and how quickly we can sanitize so that y'all are safe.
Will there be screening for students that feel ill, temperature checks?
Question is about screening. So I mentioned a minute ago that I didn't do it. I said I got a survey. That survey to me came about 4:45. Every student, every day, will receive that survey. All right? And every student will complete it every day. Let me tell you what happened when, earlier this week, a staff member clicked a yes when they thought they should have clicked a no. Within minutes, 3 different staff members were checking on that employee to ensure they didn't hit campus. And they're going, what do you mean? I'm coming to work. No, you said you had been exposed, and they just clicked the wrong button. So know that we've repositioned some staff members so that they wouldn't lose their job, even though their functions have gone away because of COVID, namely conference services and all of the external guests. That staff is now basically running a major database that anytime a student fills out that survey, that comes to them, and if they signal anything of concern, we will reach out to them. The way that's built also is, let's say that Rebecca's the one that says, hey, there's a concern, and she does that tomorrow morning. If she had a normal Friday, we'll know everyone she's come into contact with. And our staff will be able to reach out and grab that database of everyone she was in class with, every faculty member she potentially interacted with, every coach she potentially interacted with. All of that's been programmed into the system. We know what classes you are in. We know where your residence halls are. We know the natural turn of events for your day. And I know that feels big brotherish, but it's our way of trying to be as confident as possible in the plans to bring you back, so that if a student flags and they're running more than, I believe it's 100-degree temperature, we'll reach out and grab the other folks that they've been in contact with, and we'll start a contact tracing process. So yes, students will be asked to self-report. They'll be asked to check on each other. We have handheld temperature thermometers that will be throughout campus and will be used at any of the events that bring people together.
Do you have any information on how the Compass program is going to work for freshmen starting online?
Freshman students online, they are the challenge. Let me tell you what our challenge is. We're good to go with domestic students. The further a student gets from campus, the less confident we are in the solution. And that's why I'm not public on the solution for all. How about this? You have my commitment. I will publicly put something in the comment screen no later than end of business Monday. And I know this is the second week in a row that question's been asked. It's a little fuzzy. As I said, they're here. It's how do we get them to you if you're not coming here, and then have people stopped making changes so we know exactly who's here and who's starting their semester online. And because some of our students have said, hey, I'll see you in January. Some of that's about choice. Most of that's about other governmental decisions that are preventing them from coming into the country.
Will students and parents be able to watch any sports activities?
Question is, will students and parents be able to watch any sports activity? Great question, and hopefully I don't get in trouble on this one. We're in the process of putting in the backbone and the technology to be able to say yes to all of that, so that any of our competitions, exhibitions, scrimmages, not practices, but anything that we've sanctioned as a competition, in exhibition or scrimmage would be able to be, it's not televised, displayed. I don't know what the short-term word is. I'm sorry. Excuse me?
Live stream?
It'll be able to be live streamed. That's what I was looking for. Yes. Thank you.
Will nutritional information be provided for the grab-and-go options?
Will nutritional information be provided for the grab-and-go items? Yes. And did you hear that? That's a, hey, Dunsworth, we better make sure that's a yes. But it should be a yes. So I will double-check and make sure that that's happening.
Will parents be allowed to visit their students on campus after moving in?
Mom, Dad, or whoever posed the question, you're going to make me squirm just a little bit. All right, allowed, yes. Discouraged, heavily. So what does that look like? I moved to campus. Mom and Dad are an hour away, 2 hours away, 3 hours away. Let's say they're in Oklahoma and they're headed to Little Rock and they just want to stop by and see me. Please don't. Please don't. For 10 weeks, 12 weeks, it's 12 weeks. I know that's a big request. It's why we have Parents Weekend. It's why we do homecoming in the fall, to create those natural opportunities for you to come back. If you can, please don't. The beauties of FaceTime, the beauties of Marco Polo, WhatsApp, the kinds of things that can allow you to really connect in ways that we didn't have. I'd ask you to use that. If you must come to campus, limit your interaction. Please think about contaminants and do your very best to protect students that you don't even know. I know you just want to see your son or daughter and give them a hug and those kinds of things. And we're going to talk a little bit about that at the orientation session. I believe it's 2 Sundays from now, on what does that feel like. Mrs. Dunsworth, Holly, and I are going to spend an hour with parents talking about, okay, what does this new transition look like? Will students be able to stay on campus after Thanksgiving? The general answer is no, and then there are always exceptions. So the rule is when we pivot on the weekend of November 21st and 22nd, the assumption is the residence halls close, period. And then there are those exceptions. And those exceptions are things like, hey, I'm from a city in the United States that has the highest number of new infections. May I stay till I know it's safe for me to go home? We'll let our Christian, Presbyterian heritage, legacy, and connection guide us, and the answer is yes. You take care of each other. If it's for convenience, we're going to push really hard and say, no, we need you to go ahead and go home. Likewise, we'll be making adjustments to athletic schedules. The conference and then the NCAA conference suspended. The NCAA canceled fall championships. As it relates for winter sports, typically if I'm playing basketball or if I'm wrestling, I stay for part of the winter break to practice. That won't be happening. We'll be working on, okay, when is practice over? And there will be a hard stop. So again, so that we can close everything, clean it really well, give folks a chance to have a break, and then come back in January.
That's it. No more questions.
All right. I'm told that that's it of the questions that have been presented. That I just saw a question pop up, and it gives me an opportunity to talk about a little more about food. I mentioned the cafeteria, and that it's grab and go, and that there's going to be seating for about 60. Think about that great big cafeteria now. From a safe seating, it's only 60. To accommodate everything, both Starbucks, Campus Perks, and the Eagle's Nest are going to be open, and it's what's called a meal exchange or a meal equivalency. So you're not using your declining balance at those spaces, that there will be setups for, hey, a meal exchange is, a bagel, a cup of coffee, and a cup of fruit. A meal exchange at lunch might be a sandwich, a medium-sized drink, and a cookie or a bag of chips. So know that those things are being set up. We're also looking at other opportunities to create some outdoor spaces, again, so that you're able to have community, build community, and also be able to eat. All right. Know that we're thankful for everyone that's asking questions, and as you are curious and as you're asking these questions, it identifies blind spots. It identifies opportunities for us to be better and for us to be stronger. So please keep the questions coming. Please know that we're responding, and that the team that's preparing they're preparing hard. They're hitting a point where they're going, okay, how's all this going to work? And they're anxious to see students. And we believe that we have done our best to prepare so that students can safely return, and so that families can feel confident about those decisions. And as you've heard me say before, that if there's a challenge and we make a poor decision, you'll hear from us. We'll own it, and then we'll make a new one as new information is coming in. So I see a couple more questions coming in. Orientation is for parents is virtual. It's online, and there'll be a series of links that come out so that you can stop into the sessions you're most interested in. We hope you attend it all, but we also know that you all have lives. I see a question on the number of students that can be quarantined on campus at a time, and at any point would you cease operation if there's too many? And I can't see is that it of the question?
And then what is the plan? That's it of that question.
Okay. All right. So currently we have 2 buildings. It's College Avenue. Those are 16 units that are duplexes that are specifically set up for quarantine. We have another 50, not quite 50 beds on campus that as we believe the movement has stopped, now we'll start working on, okay, how do we isolate those beds? How do we move them around so that they then can also be used for quarantine spaces? So we've already made the apartments available, and then we'll continue to work on whether we need to add a couple of floors for additional. What is the plan if there's a large campus outbreak? The plan is that we would, if necessary, and that would come from the health department, all right, that we're working very closely with experts in this field, both at the state level and the community level, that if they said that we were infected beyond our ability to effectively treat, respond, care for, we would need to pivot to online, and we would need to close the campus. Okay, folks. Thank you again for the support, for the love, and here's where I ask for prayers. Pray for the institution. Pray for the doctors and the researchers that are trying to find a solution. Pray for the families that have lost someone or that are watching their loved ones fight this dreadful illness. And pray for the leaders of this country as we continue to move forward and try to create, try to create a beloved community in a time of crisis or in a time of turmoil. Know that that's what we're trying to do here, and that we're taking every decision we make. We're taking them as seriously as we can, and we're moving forward. So, God bless. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.